and I just start projectile vomiting.
Main thing, but if I'm being honest, I only hit it for the one time. I told my side bitch, get up on it, and I hit it real easy like a punchline. But fuck it,
Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here and you like the content, stay a while, subscribe. Anyway, today is the COVID story time. So I'm just gonna eat my cookie and tell you guys because it was crazy for me. It all started off on a Sunday afternoon and it was like 3, and that's when I started to get uncomfortable. But I was on my period, so I'm just uncomfortable. And then it started getting later in the day, so it started being like 5, 6, and I didn't even want to move. And then finally it's like 8 o'clock at night and my mom's out of town, right? Usually she'd be the one to watch my kids for me. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to go. In the back of my head, I'm like, I'm gonna have to go to the hospital because there's no way. Like, this pain is cut the cameras. Like,
cut the cameras.
I'm just
Dead.
So I text my brother and I'm like, may or may not need you. Stay by your phone. Okay, thanks. So then it hits like 12 o'clock and my 7-month-old is crying. And I'm like, oh, she needs a bottle. So I get up and I'm already in pain. Like, I'm hunched over in pain. And I just fall to the floor. Like, the pain is unbearable. It feels like I'm being stabbed. Like, this pain was worse than labor pains, worse than contractions. Like, I'm like, something's wrong. I call my brother and I'm like, I need you to take me to the hospital. Can you watch King if I can get someone to watch Kylan? And he's like, yeah, I'm on my way. So then I call my aunt. Thank God she's up because it's like 11 o'clock. And I'm like, is there any way you can take Kylan? Something's wrong. My mom will grab her in the morning if I have to get admitted. Blah, blah, blah. She's like, yeah. So when my brother comes, he walks in the house. Mind you, I'm still on the floor in like the fetal position. Like, tears falling down my face, but I'm not trying to cry because I don't want to scare my son. And he's like, yeah, something's wrong. So he's like, okay, just tell me what I need to grab. So I'm like pointing out to him like what to grab for the kids to put in bags. Well, finally he carries them out. And then he comes like, help me up, and I can't even get up. So he has to carry me out. So he takes me to the hospital before he drops my daughter off to my aunt. So he's like, as soon as I get out the car, I'm so hunched over, like the nurse at the hospital desk sees me and brings a wheelchair out. So there's like a 3-hour wait, mind you. The whole waiting room was full. So in the back of my head, I'm like, shit. In the back of my head, I was like, who's finna wait 3 hours? Like, I'm shaking. I'm in so much pain. I'm starting to get nauseous. Like, my whole side, I'm just holding my side. Like silently. It takes a lot for me to cry, but like tears were just falling because I was just in so much pain. So they take me back to the triage room and they're asking me questions. And I'm in so much pain. Like, my blood pressure is high, my pulse is high. Like, everything was just so like bad. They just wheeled me back to the room. So at this point, I'm waiting. You know, they take you to the room like, okay, your nurse will be in here in a minute. They probably thought I was a crackhead. Like, I've worked in the hospital and I've hear patients like moan and groan and been like, ugh. When I tell you I was moaning and groaning, oh my God. I was in so much pain. Like, if I need to push my call button because I'm like, I can't. Like, I'm about to start throwing up. I'm about to pass out. Like, I was in so much pain. So I like get off the bed and crawl to where the remote is, the call button, put the nurse's thing. When she walked in the room and see me on the floor, she was like, okay, let's get you pain medicine. Like it was no joke. So before she didn't even get me the pain medicine, she helps me up and gets me on the bed. And I just start projectile vomiting. Like, everywhere. And it's green. It's just like dark green. And it's just like, I can't stop. Like, it's to the point like I'm like trying to like gasp for air because I'm throwing up so much. I had to change like 3 gowns. And it's not even that because it's just throwing. But then I'm starting to get diarrhea on top of it. Yeah, so I'm throwing up and shitting my brains out. It was just a mess. So, like, I'm in so much pain. Like, at one point, like, they were thinking it was appendicitis. I don't even know. So, at this point, they give me morphine and knock me out. Like, I'm straight to sleep for, like, an hour. Like, I wake up and again start projectile vomiting everywhere. Still shitting my brains out. They do a scan and it's not appendicitis. But I'm in so much pain, they don't know what to do. And they're like, we can't send her home. So they're like, okay, we're going to admit you so we can figure this shit out, really. And what do they have to do before they admit you? COVID swab, which is fucking terrible. I hate it. So they COVID swab me and tell me I'm being admitted. So I'm like calling my mom, telling her, you gotta get the kids in the morning. I'm texting my brother, I'm being admitted. I'm texting my aunt, I'm being admitted. But I'm so sick, I just don't even want to like hold my phone. So after that, I just put my phone down. And then I'm trying to like fall back asleep. I can't. I'm in so much pain. It hurts to move. It hurts to get up now. I'm still shitting my brains out. I'm still throwing up. And then 20 minutes after this COVID swab, 20, maybe 30 minutes, the doctor comes in and goes, you're COVID positive. I got to add that he came in full PPE gear, like head to toe, and even I was scared. And I'm like, what? Because mind you, I didn't even have like a no cold. My nose wasn't running. I wasn't coughing. And I have bad asthma. Like I've always had bad asthma. I'm up in the hospital multiple times. I have like 3 inhalers. I'm on like 4 different medications. Like your girl has bad asthma. Always has. And every time I get sick, my breathing is like trash. Like I'm having to stay on top of like my medications and my inhalers just to like be able to be okay. So I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, and COVID's supposed to be worse when you have asthma. So I'm like, how in the hell? I'm like, that's crazy because I have no symptoms. And he's like, well, the nausea is a symptom. So now you're starting to get the symptoms. And I'm like, great. So they admit me and I spend the night. And at this point, they're not giving me morphine, they're giving me Dilaudid. Dilaudid does not agree with Soraya. No, ma'am. Not at all. Every single time they gave me, and it was little, it was like this much. Every time they gave me it, like Dilaudid hits you where you're just like, and I kind of got like lightheaded and felt like I was going to pass out, and then throwing my brains up. They try to give it to me so many different ways. They try to give it to me diluted. They try to give it to me over 2 minutes. They try to give it to me fast. And I had to have it because you're allowed to have it, I think, every like 6 hours. I was needing it by hour 3. I was in so much pain. So it's like I had to have it, but it's just like they knew. At this point, when they gave it to me, they just had a bucket and was waiting. So then I was having to get Zofran on top of it, which I don't even know if it was helping because they would give it to me before and I'd still throw up like as soon as I got that medicine. But anyway, when you have COVID, you're prone to blood clots. So I was getting a shot in my stomach every 6 hours. Every 6 hours for the whole 8 days. When I tell you I still have dots all over my stomach from those shots. And then you have to I was getting blood drawn at like 4 in the morning every day. IVs. At one point, like, I don't know, they think that COVID may be able to, like, clot your blood and stuff. Like, my IVs were going bad, like, just like that. They'd unplug it for, like, 2 seconds, and it'd go bad, and they'd have to give me another one. This is not for you. This is chocolate. You can't have chocolate. As the days were going by, like, the pain was not getting better. So then it gets to day 7, they were going to send me home. It's, like, 3 o'clock. Mind you, I had just got a CAT scan, MRI? No, CAT scan. I'm pretty sure it was CAT scan. I just got a CAT scan. They were just waiting on the results for that, and then they were going to send me home. 3:30 comes in. He's like, no, we can't send you home. They did my CAT scan, and my ovaries were enlarged or swollen with fluid in them, and my small intestine, which scares me because anything about ovaries, like, I'm only 21, I'm a single mom, and I have 2 kids, but eventually I want to have a kid with the right person and like the right way and be married and things like that. So that kind of made me nervous. But anyways, I was just freaked out. So the second day goes by, and the pain in my side is starting to go down. So like now I can get up and go to the bathroom and not be in so much pain and things like that. So I'm ready to go home because it's like day 7 at this point. I haven't seen my kids. I'm like, they're gonna forget about me. I have problems anyway. So they're giving me pain medicine. On day 7, I had to do another CAT scan to make sure that like it was going down and everything. So they give you these 3 drinks, and it's like this big, 3 of them that you have to drink. One within 20 minutes, another one within 20 minutes, another one within 20 minutes, and then you have to go take the CT or whatever. CAT scans, I don't even know what it's called anyway. So you will literally, I was not allowed to eat anything, and I'm drinking this on an empty stomach. So I'm like chugging it and throwing it up, chugging it and throwing it up, chugging it. The nurse felt so bad for me, but I'm just chugging it and like throwing up on top of it. So finally I get all down and I go to take the test, and I go upstairs and they're like, no, you still can't eat. So it turned into day 8, and they're like, there's still fluid in there, but your pain's getting better, so that's good. Sometimes COVID just does, like, COVID can infect anything. It's really, like, they still don't know anything about it, really. There's so many different strands. People are having so many different symptoms. So they're like, we're going to start you off on something small, like to eat. We're gonna let you eat and then see if you end up throwing it back up. I'm so hungry. I even told the doctor, I was like, I don't even think it's gonna come up if it wanted to. Like, I'm starving. So I ate a peanut butter and jelly with chips, and then I was doing fine. So day 8, they're telling me, oh yeah, you're gonna be discharged, I talked to like a surgeon, I had to talk to a OBGYN, I had to talk to so many different people to make sure that I was okay. So all of those doctors, OBGYN, the surgeon, they all signed off. They're like, okay, the OBGYN, you need to have a follow-up. And then the surgeon was like, I don't think it's anything like to do with you. I think it's just the COVID that's making it like this. So we're just gonna have you follow up in like a week. But the main doctor that had to sign off to let me go home, he's the one that was like, I don't know how it's looking. Why ain't it going down? He was not trying to let me go home. That man, and at this point, I understand why. Because, like, he just wanted to make sure, like, I was okay. But in the moment, I just wanted to go home. Like, I was tired of being in that hospital bed. I miss my kids. I was so pissed off about not eating. I just wanted to go home and, like, make a steak. Really. So he doesn't let me go home on day 8. So day 9 comes and I'm praying. When I tell you, I have never prayed so much in my life. I was like, please, I won't leave the house. Which I don't even know how I got the COVID, because I don't leave the house. Like, I never really leave the house unless I have to, unless for work or to go grocery shopping. So the one time I left my house to go grocery shopping or at work, I must have caught it. But anyway. So I'm like praying. They're like, okay, we want to see you eat one more time. So I'm like, okay. When I tell you I did not touch, I ordered like almond and bacon. It was so nasty that I wasn't like, I took a bite and I was like, I threw some in the trash, so it looked like I ate. I was like, absolutely not. I was like, I'm not finna stay here because of this, but I'm not about to eat this neither. So he comes in at like 11 o'clock and he's like, no, you didn't throw up? And I was like, nope. So then the doctor comes in and talks to me again, and he's basically just telling me, like, you're going to have a follow-up with the OBGYN, and you're going to have a follow-up with the, I think it was that one surgeon, just to make sure, a follow-up to do another CT or something like that. CAT scan, CT, I don't know what it is. Something like that to make sure that everything's going down. And he finally let me go home. And when I got home, when I tell you I cooked the most extravagant, I mean, I'm talking steak, asparagus, mashed potatoes, homemade macaroni and cheese. I cooked so much food and savored every bite of it. But yeah, now I'm getting the vaccine, I'm getting the booster, I'm getting both shots. Anything, give it to me, because I'm telling you, the pain of COVID, being hospitalized, that shit is not worth it. It is not worth it. I wish I would have got it, and I am getting it, because your girl was in some pain. Your girl was going through it. But yeah, now I'm okay. Your girl's healthy. And yeah. But that was my horror COVID story. So if you liked the content, if you liked the video, please like, please subscribe, and comment, because I love commenting back and I love feedback. But yeah, bye.
Got a main thing, but if I'm being honest, I only hit it for the one time. I told my side bitch, get up.